everybody. Welcome back once again to the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast, coming to you from the Retro Wrestling Archive in Gadsden, Alabama. I'm your host, Gene Jackson, along with producer Smokey. And please help me welcome my co-host. First up, it's the real Tennessee stud himself, Josh Briley of P3 Radio. Josh, how are we doing this lovely Sunday morning?
Well, Gene, me and old Bob are doing good today, baby. A rainy Sunday morning. How you doing, man? Are you recovering?
I'm working on it, man. I'm getting there. I'm hoping that we can get a line from you saying that by the time this podcast is over, you're going to say, "Stud, I love you."
More on that here.
I guess that was becoming his hook right here, because the last time we saw him, he was saying that about a dog. But anyway, like you say, more just a little teaser, but we may have stepped on somebody's toes teasing something. So let's not wait any longer. We may tease something else and get in trouble. So let's welcome our other co-host. He's the owner, founder, and president of STSpod.club, and he's Jonesboro, Arkansas's current favorite resident. Spoiler alert, it's Brian Trammell. What's up, BT?
Hey, guys, Brother Gene, Brother Josh. Get buck. Man, we heard that a lot in this episode. It's my best friend, Gene, and my favorite host of P3 Radio, Josh. And today I'm brought to you by, well, nothing. No one wants to sponsor me today, so there you go.
Not even that lighting company that came in and brightened up your studio there?
And the people will actually be able to see me now. I'll be scaring off the viewers, so I'm wearing my Happy Shiznit Day shirt. It was the 8th annual Happy Shiznit Day, and so you can get that on my site. I'll give you the link sometime. But yeah, we're excited about today, and if you're not a Patreon member, I'm going to tease it, Gene, and we talked about it pre-show. I'm going to go ahead and tease it right here. If you're not a Patreon member and you want to hear a true crime story involving me, that's right. Camping true crime story, and I'm not bullshitting either. So there you go. Subscribe to Patreon today.
So I'm pretty excited because that means perhaps a portion of this show, or at least a portion of the Patreon show, may be subpoenaed for court. This Dateline mystery that may be finally solved here. PT is going to confess on
way before Dateline. Way before Dateline.
So yes, patreon.com/@Retro Wrestling Archive. Sign up there and you can hear this true crime story before they come in and haul BT off to prison or something. So, Josh, you got anything to tease for hot mics today for after the show?
Oh, just my I can't wait. I'm ready for it. I'm truly excited about what he's going to reveal. And kind of dreadful because I don't have any more vacation days at work left. And they're going to drag us into this shit too. Like, so did he tell you anything off camera? And I'm not going to be compensated for that. So, and it's probably going to be in fucking Arkansas too. So I'm going to have to spend money to get there.
It was in Missouri, but there you go. Yeah,
I was going to say, if it's in Arkansas, we know a guy we can get a ride from. Hopefully, if we can just get there, because I'm sure he'll already, if he hears there's a trial that BT is going on trial somewhere, he'll be there. He'll be going anyway, so we can just ride with him.
Oh yeah.
About time they locked that son of a bitch up.
Is there a committee I could talk to push for harsher sentencing? Like, I believe he would be on that side of it.
Please make me a juror. But anyway, I've lost track here. We're way sideways. Way sideways on that one, but
sidewise.
Yes. I may be on a few different pain medicines.
I'm always on a few different, so there we go.
Things like that. But anyway, I've had a lot of time this week to watch some old wrestling. You said something about not being compensated. Like, I'm out of days. So, like, 3 of these days that I'm out, I'm not getting paid for, which is upsetting. But anyway, we're heading back to April 13th, 1991. And this one's got a little bit of everything. So, hope you guys are ready. Going to have Jeff Jarrett introducing a mystery partner. Jamie Dundee stoops to a new low, and the Texans are still running wild like Hulkamania here in Memphis. So let's get into it. Last week we had the Jerry Lawler doctor, defying doctor's orders. He brought on the video that said you got to take 4 to 6 weeks off. Then he confirmed he's going to take 4 to 6 weeks off. And within the next 10 minutes, he was challenging Eric Embry to a steel cage match for both the titles. So it was a wild one last week, and we saw poor Todd Johnson was the one to take the pile driver off the second rope last week. He just got hired on to be a full-time jobber in USWA, and his hopes and dreams have been crushed by the quote-unquote Texas bunch. So we'll have to see what's happening this week. Is Jerry Lawler going to be here? Is he going to confirm his time off, or is he just going to get right back in the ring? The last few weeks have taught us anything. He's not going to take time off, but stick around, folks. You may be surprised. The opening match, we see superstar Bill Dundee taking on Sergeant O'Reilly, and Dundee gets it done in about 48 seconds. O'Reilly had jumped him before the bell, and Dundee didn't take kindly to that, and he quickly slapped that sleeper on him and put him down. I would ask you what you think of that match, but it really wasn't a match. So
it was Sarge. I loved it. So, and David's alone today too. David's alone. That should be a song. So
that's true. Michael St. John is not here this week, so we won't know who's looking good and who's not unless.
I like Bill's. I really like Bill's jacket. The University of Louisville.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
It had that old school nostalgia feel. 91. Them jackets were slapping, man. Dude, the crowd, they were pumped up with him coming out there. Go Bill, go Bill. Like he's dancing and shit. Like, and I believe though, this match was just a purpose for the promo. Talk about what he was doing, and it was really cool that they at least did that quick to get to the point.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as cool as his denim jacket that has himself airbrushed on the back. Whoever did that one, Bill, it didn't do you any favors, that's for sure. The picture of Bill that was airbrushed on that jacket like had downs or something. But anyway, so Dundee's in his 40s here, but he's still in tremendous shape. He still can go in the ring, and he still can cut a fiery promo. So let's listen to a little bit of Dundee's promo here, and we'll talk about what happens beyond that just after this. This is also going to be highlights from last week where he spanked Jamie as well. So there's going to be a lot going on in this clip.
The JC again, scoops him up, slams him down hard. JC Ice goes up to the top rope. Bill Dundee shakes the rope from the other side of the ring. JC able to get up, but Bruno able to move out of the way. JC finds no one at home. Bruno makes the tag. So does JC, the superstar in, working over Stunning Steve Austin. Uptown Bruno in on JC Ice, baby. Stunning Steve fires Dundee across the ring. JC Ice pulls Bruno up, has his feet on the bottom rope for leverage, gets the pin cover on Uptown Bruno. And look at this. Bill Superstar Dundee pulling the sights down of JC Ice, baby, and spanks him right in the center of the ring. Stunning Steve climbing up into the ring with a metal chair, going to try to get Dundee off of JC Ice. Dundee able to scoot on out of the ring.
Well, the crowd here certainly approved of what you did. I hope it does some good, Bill.
Well, I do too. And he went on just exactly what he is. You've been a spoiled brat all your life, and I've told you, Jamie, I have took all the blame for it. Now, listen to what I'm telling you, son. Please listen. You started off with the dirty white boy. Gone. Then you got hold of Jeff Gaylord. Gone. Then you got the stunning one. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's all big, muscled, whatever, and he couldn't do what you said he was going to do. But he's still here, so I guess he's still filling your head. But he never did what you said he could do. So, if you just... And then I told you, son, in front of all the world, I was going to paddle your little hiney, and I did it. Now.
So Jamie and Steve Austin get the win, but Bill Dundee gets his hands on Jamie, pulls down his tights, and gives him a bare-ass spanking right there at the Pipkin building. And as we know from last week, everybody's got closer and more intimate, so it's like they were right there spanking Jamie's bare ass along with Bill. Now we've got a clip. I clipped these in two different parts. This next thing is really good. We've seen Eddie Gilbert do this effectively. We've seen a few people pull this off over the years. But if you are listening to this clip or if you're watching along with us, Jamie shows his acting chops here. He does a pretty good job. Just take a look. I don't want to spoil it before we get there, but let's just say, as Vince Russo would say, there's a swerve, bro, coming up.
Look, Daddy, I just come out here today. Yes, sir, I did. I come out here for me to talk to you man to man and tell you that I know that I've done wrong. You know that there's roads when you go down the way, and in some part some way and some part others, and I know I parted the wrong way, and I just want to come out here and apologize and tell you that, you know, you're my dad, man, and I just, like you said, I'd like to go home and just talk about it, man. Yeah, okay, I do. Bless your heart.
No. The Texas Hangmen.
Ever embarrass me again, Dundee? Don't you ever do to me what you done to me in front of all them people, man. Don't you talk about friends? I got big friends, bad friends. I got lots of friends, and I got friends coming by the Dungeons Day, man. Cause I ain't nothing nice, man.
Jamie Dundee sets him up and then calls his friends out here, the Texas Hangmen.
All right, guys. So, what do you think of that whole thing from the Bill Dundee promo going forward?
I love it. I mean, I was kind of getting half-assed depressed that they were kind of just not leaning into the Bill and weeks ago, because that was a big part of from, it seemed like, when Eric started booking and then going forward, and then it was like it just kind of fizzled out the last couple of weeks because of other things or whatever. But man, we're back in full force, like you said, a bare ass spanking, and you don't get too many of those on no. Memphis wrestling, and and the swerve, Jamie, it looked legit. It looked like he came out there and he was not bullshitting. He wanted to make up with Bill and his Texas friend. I think we're missing an opportunity here, because he's associated with the Texas Hangmen, Steve Austin, who is also a Texas bunch guy now because he's hanging out with Pritchard and Embry. I think we missed the opportunity dressing him up like little Jimmy Dickens and him being the JoJo, him being the Texas guy.
Oh my God! Only Josh, and if y'all know this, for shoot, he loves Jimmy Dickens. So,
oh my God, that would be tremendous.
I actually love this spot. I knew what was going to happen, but I thought they did a really good job about it. Spanking him and everything during this segment. Tell me if I'm wrong, but we got Bull Payne under the mask beating up Bill Dundee, and in the future, Bull, we just want to tell you something. Samantha goes with Bill. I just want you to know that your wife goes with Bill, so I just want to tell him that for the future, since I'm a spoiler.
Yes, so Bill wins that round. But yeah, I'm with you, Josh. It looked like they were kind of taking some focus off of the Dundee feud and pushing it down the card. And then with this whole segment, they just poured a whole new jug of gasoline on the fire, because Jamie seemed very sincere. Even though he wasn't really as sure of his words in this one as he has been, but I think that may have been by design. When he comes out, he's been hollering, calling him Dundee for the last few weeks, but he comes out Daddy, and he props on the side of the desk, and he looks like a teenager sitting on the bed having like, I know I screwed up, blah, blah, blah. And Dundee, Bill immediately accepted it, hugged him, and everything. But I love how we go from mild-mannered, I'm sorry, low-key, sincere Jamie to immediately, as soon as the Texas Hangman laid hands on him, I told you, Dundee. I told you, he jumps right into heel mode, and you're right back to going, that son of a bitch. So, and that's part of the genius of Memphis wrestling, but based on their weekly booking is, okay, we saw him get the bare ass spanking from his dad last week. Well, now what? Well, now he's pulled this shit. We want to see him get his ass whipped all over again. So,
right.
Great stuff, because that's the problem sometimes is like you can't drag this stuff out forever before you give a payoff. But if you're not ready to end it, you got to be ready to fire up the heat again after you've already gave fans somewhat of a payoff. And that's exactly what they did here. So great segment. And there's still a lot of mileage left in this Dundee feud.
Good deal.
So first match of the day, Dr. Tom Pritchard and Stunning Steve Austin with Tojo took on Don Kelly and TD Steele. And I don't know. I like the idea of a Tom Pritchard and Steve Austin tag team.
Oh yeah.
I think that could have went somewhere if they'd been able to stick together. But anyway, Tom is sticking to his slingshot suplex as his finisher. He's going to do it or die, but it's looked a lot better the last several weeks, so I won't knock him for that. But yeah, Pritchard and Austin show a little bit of tag team chemistry here, so they show potential for being a tag team. And of course, there's a couple of Tojo spots in here for interference, and he reminds us he's there.
And he had a new briefcase, brand new briefcase.
Thank God, because that other one was shot.
The other one had cardboard and duct tape on it, I think.
Yeah, so. I mean, it looked like they had wrapped it in aluminum foil or something. But what did you guys think of this match?
I thought, like you're saying, you like the idea of the Pritchard Austin. They had the chemistry and visually, they both had the shiny, sparkly Ric Flair-esque robes on, or whatever, and they looked like a team. And it didn't seem before. It seemed like it was questionable whether Stunning Steve was a part of the Texas bunch or not before. I mean, obviously he had done just a little bit, but it wasn't like he was riding with them,
Yeah.
But right here, he's teaming with Pritchard. That all but confirms it. And he's from Texas as well, and he's dastardly. So, yeah, I think it's a perfect combo.
I had fun with the match. All I could think about was that Austin was just soaking up the knowledge, working, tagging with Tom Pritchard. Pritchard was so good at this point. I mean, look at Austin, though, not being in the business very long, but he was smooth too. So, yeah, good tag team. And like you said, I never thought about it until you said it, Gene. If these two guys, they may have had a career as a tag team if it would have happened. So.
Yeah, and to your point there, BT, if you just showed this match to somebody, they wouldn't believe how long Steve Austin had been in the business. To watch him work, you would never imagine that he had been in the business no longer than he had. And then they had the post-match promo, and Pritchard rants a bit about Jeff Jarrett having a mystery partner. But he says it doesn't matter. You could bring Frankenstein. They've got Stunning Steve Austin. So I thought that was a pretty good line there to help build up Steve Austin as the badass of the Texas stable here.
I want to make a note about this, too, this promo and everything, Dr. Tom and Austin together. When they come out together and they're wrestling, I'm not going to spoil anything, but my first thought was, where's Eric Embry? So I want to make a note that I love the way they did this for what's fixing to happen kind of thing. But also, back to the Dundee into this, we've said this, and I'm going to keep saying it. Embry has those little bitty details that you have not seen in Memphis wrestling very much. So when it comes to booking, maybe Dundee's booking had little details. Maybe Jarrett, Lawler hardly ever had little details in his booking, but man, Embry's got it all over from top to bottom. He's putting little thing. And I'll talk about that more after we see Embry's appearance on the show.
So next up, we see a video of the Southern Heavyweight title cage match with Jeff Jarrett challenging Dr. Tom.
Wow.
And boy, Jarrett gets bloodied in this thing. And, as I watch this clip, and like I say, the past few days, I've just been sitting in recliner recovering from surgery. So I've been watching a lot of stuff on YouTube and whatnot. And so I watched some other matches, like between Jarrett and Dr. Tom, mostly from Dallas. And that's really an underrated feud there. Like Jeff Jarrett and Tom Pritchard had some really awesome matches. I wish there was more of them out there, but I would have really loved to have been there for this cage match. It was a great match. And of course, get a ref bump and all the different shenanigans that goes on. But still in the end, Jeff Jarrett ends up coming out of it, the Southern heavyweight champion. And, but I mean, it's typical Memphis, man. Even if it's a cage match, do you think that eliminates everything? There's still going to be twists and turns and cheating and interference and all kinds of shenanigans. So, really surprised once all that started that we see Jeff come out with the title. But the biggest thing I couldn't get over is just how bloody, probably about as bloody as I've ever seen Jeff in a match.
And the crowd, we talked about this the last few weeks. I love the Pipkin building. I love it. That crowd, that match looked great. The crowd was into it. Just so loud around the ring and everything. So yeah, loved it.
Yeah, and the triple roll up for the win. Like at least it was a pinfall. I like that, Jeff didn't have to get Lawler and, whoever else, Kern out here to like really have a big hand in him getting the win. It was just boom, 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 and yeah, the Pipkin building, man, it seems like even when we're watching these replays back, it seems like the shot is even better lit, closer. Yeah. And I cannot imagine being there on the front row and both of them just being like, you probably got blood splattered on them. It was so close. Yeah. It had to have been special to be there.
Well, absolutely. And next we hear from the new Southern heavyweight champion, Jeff Jarrett, and Dave congratulates him on winning the title. And they talk about the fact he's got a mystery partner that's going to be helping him take on Tom Pritchard and, Steve Austin, but the mystery doesn't stay a mystery long. It's not one of those things where we're going to have to wait and show up Monday night to find out who the mystery partner is. So right now, let's hear from the surprise mystery partner of Jeff Jarrett.
I received a phone call at my ranch house over in eastern Tennessee the other day that shocked the living heck out of me. It's one I never thought I'd get. It was from Jeff Jarrett. Jeff, I don't know how you got my number, or you must have went to a lot of trouble to do it, and I know you got some serious problems over there. It seems there's a couple of guys from Texas, this Pritchard and Austin, that figure that they're tough enough to run down the state of Tennessee and then come right into that state, double jump probably the toughest guy in the state. When I first came to Tennessee, I judged Jeff Jarrett as a punk. But after wrestling him in a year's feud, the darndest fight I ever had in my life, all across 5 states, I realized that I'm wrestling a heck of a man here. And that I decided that I'm going to come into that area to be Jeff Jarrett's partner. And I'm going to guarantee you this. You may figure you got your differences with me there in that state, but Jeff, you're not going to have the problem with me. The problem's going to be with Pritchard and Austin. And boys, I'll tell you what, me and Jeff Jarrett's going to kick up a lot of dirt there. And when it settles down, Jeff's going to be darn proud he chose a stud of his partner. And everybody in the state of Tennessee is going to go right along with the feeling. Jeff, you can look at me when that match is over, boys. You can say, stud, I love you.
So, as we said about Jackie Fargo a few weeks ago, there's nothing with these promos recorded through a walkie-talkie. It sounds like. I mean, even in '91, that sounds rough for a telephone.
It was the McDonald's. It was McDonald's drive-throughs where they recorded it at. So,
certainly sounds like it. But if you're somebody who had followed Memphis wrestling for the previous several years, then you remember that, Jeff Jarrett had just a hell of a feud with Robert Fuller. And it kind of was the singles feud that kind of proved Jeff Jarrett was a tough guy, that he wasn't just, the promoter's son that gets handed. I mean, he took some beatings in that feud and really, I think, convinced some people that he could, take it as well as he could dish it out. So it was really shocking. In 1991, it was shocking the day this happened that it's like, shit, he's bringing in Robert Fuller? What the hell? And so, of course, just like with Eddie Gilbert, now you add this layer of, all right, well, Robert Fuller's a tough dude, but can Jeff Jarrett trust him? can he be bought by the Texas bunch or whatever? So that adds another element of mystery to this whole thing. So as you guys were watching this, I don't know if you remembered it from before. I'm sure you did, but still yet. What did you think when old Tennessee Stud was announced as the mystery partner?
Yeah, man, I vividly remember it. This is one that I had on tape and I wore it out. I watched it over and over at my granny's house, and then I stole it from my granny's house and took it to my house to watch it more. And yeah, it was a shock because, like you say, I mean, like I remember there being like ball bats involved and Robert Fuller like really injuring Jeff and other people as well. And like it kind of makes you think though, because Eddie Gilbert had recently made that transformation, from the almost probably one of the nastiest heels ever, and he's over on our side now, defending Tennessee. So it kind of gives you hope that Robert Fuller is maybe sincere. And if he's not, he may end up whipping Eric Embry's ass anyways. And it's going to take somebody like Robert Fuller to come in and be successful with it because, Lawler's gone, and who else is going to help? It seems like somebody like Robert Fuller would be able to do it.
I mean, I agree. I love the idea. He's always been the Tennessee Stud. So there we go. He's a Tennessee boy. He don't care. He hates Texas. So I believe that part of him. Also love this. This is typical Memphis. I talked about it a bunch here on this podcast. But the toughest guy ever faced, I'm going to call it the toughest guy ever faced, is what Jeff said. And it's Robert Fuller. So that's what I love. I love them being able to take a heel that they feuded with and bring them into tag. And, Robert you said this, but Robert was a huge part of getting Jeff over as a babyface and as a tough, that he was a tough guy instead of just the blonde. Same thing with the Fabs and the Moondogs. Is what it reminded me of, that you always thought the Fabs were just pretty boys until they feuded with the Moondogs. And that's kind of like, Jeff is just daddy's boy until he feuded with Robert. And this would have been a surprise on Memphis television, especially to the longtime fans, like you said.
As a kid, I wasn't a kid that rooted for the bad guys, but I did always like when Robert Fuller was on TV because he knew it was going to be entertaining. He had that foghorn leghorn delivery to him even way before he was ever Colonel Parker. So for him to be a good guy, one of the main things I remember from that feud with him and Jeff was, he was doing the loaded boot gimmick, and finally Jeff got the loaded boot off of him and beat his ass with it. And then the next Saturday on TV, Jarrett comes out and he's holding the boot in his hand. And of course, Robert comes out, I need my boot. I can't wrestle without my boot. That's a medical device. So much good stuff between those two. So yeah, that's really fun. And I mean, I'm sure everybody who heard this that morning thought, okay, well, this is one of those one-off things. Robert Fuller's going to come in this week and be his partner, and it'll go how it goes. And then he'll probably have to get somebody else the next week, whenever. But who would have thought that the Jarrett and Fuller tag team here is going to be an established team that does a whole lot over these next couple of years? Not to really spoil anything, but old Rob's going to be here with us for a minute, so I'm happy about that. So, of course, after hearing from...
Gene, you and Josh might know this, but why do they call Robert the Tennessee Stud?
Because he took it from his brother Ron when Ron quit wrestling.
Oh, okay. I wondered why.
If you want the real... Right, you can
Patreon teaser. I'll tell you the real reason. So,
all right. But yeah, the literal reason is because Ron retired and Robert got all his old Tennessee Stud robes. But you can tell everybody the more salacious reason.
Intimate reason why.
Yeah.
But would it be the true reason, though? I mean, right?
I mean, it's why it fits. I mean, it's
Ask Sylvia.
I'm not sure if it fits, but
oh yeah, look at Sylvia. It fits. There you go. Oh.
So Tom Pritchard and Steve Austin come out to give their rebuttal to Jeff announcing that Fuller was his partner. Pritchard makes a remark, Tennessee Stud, well, we're going to put you out to pasture. So I thought that was a pretty good
Yeah.
Pretty good comeback from Dr. Rod Pritchard. So they run down the card next as usual. We'll save that till the end. So let's move on to the next thing that we had on the show, and that is a clip of Jerry Lawler versus Eric Embry steel cage highlights. I didn't clip this. There were some pretty good moments in this, but they were having issues. The reason I didn't pull anything from the Jeff Jarrett promo is because they were having some audio issues. And it wasn't just this version of the tape. It was on the original broadcast because they kept putting up on their audio issues, please stand by. And so that stays plastered all over the screen through this highlight video and stuff. So I thought we can just talk about it. It looked like it was a pretty wild match. At some point, Eric Embry gave a pile driver to Frank Morrell, and then all hell breaks loose. But as we talked about last week from what we read, Pritchard, I didn't really get this from it the first time, but the belt was through the cage, and Pritchard was choking him with the belt from outside the cage while Eric Embry worked him over. So, okay, like I say, I still don't love how often we're not giving finishes here, but anyway, we've seen how it come about. What did you guys think? Would you have been happy that you went that week to see this cage match? It looked like a wild one.
Yes. I mean, just like cage match from before, but this one even wilder because I'm gonna be honest with you. Watching it back, I was trying to put myself in Tom Pritchard's shoes, being the one doing that to Lawler, one of the owners of the company, and it looked legit. And Lawler's like, he is a master. He's making me believe that he is for real being choked. Tom's fucking up. I mean, and it was a great visual. Everybody, again, bloody mess, and it's chaotic as fuck. And the Pipkin building, super close shot. Like, I can't imagine being there, but yeah, it was absolute Wild Wild West.
I loved it. The crowd, I wrote down, the crowd was crazy in this match. I mean, you were talking about the main event, so they sit through all the matches, and there's still that buzz that's going on that sometimes you just can't hold for the longest. I said this before, but it reminds me of the Nashville building a lot because there was always in the Nashville matches, even from the start to the finish, there's always a reaction, a buzz going on. I love these clips. It's like, just put me a whole YouTube of just clips from the Pipkin building. I really like it. So,
yeah, I'm sorry, Gene. I just wanted to say as well, like, can you imagine too? There's already been a cage match, and usually, if you're in a cage match, that is the feature of it, of the show. You're the only one, but it was a hell of a cage match before, so it had to be absolute bonkers to live up to what they had just they're coming into.
I agree, man. You have to sit through. Lawler did a spot that I always loved. He'd already pulled the strap down, and then he put it back up and pulled it down again. I always loved that.
Like a reset button.
Let me give me a second can of spinach here, and let's go again. But I always loved that. Good stuff. Just these clips make you want to go to that building big time.
Yeah, because it didn't look like your typical wrestling angle. It looked like Embry was trying to make good on his promise of killing Lawler.
Killing him,
Like they were really trying to carry that out. And the one big note that I made watching this is if this isn't what allows Lawler to take those few weeks off, if he comes back Saturday morning and go, all right, well, I got to have one more cage match, and all of this shit in this cage match was absolutely for nothing, because I'm convinced watching this going, oh yeah, he's going to be out for a while whether he wants to or not. But well, we won't spoil it. But next up, we see Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert taking on the Scorpion, and this goes about 22 seconds. He gets the job done. Gets the old nasty, hot shot. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Very much so. So, Gilbert praises both Jarrett and Lawler and talks about how he's changed, and he vows to destroy Eric Embry.
He turned good, y'all. Remember, he talked about it last week. He's done it now. He's turned good.
He mentions how he still wants shots at Jarrett and Lawler. That hasn't changed. Once Lawler's back on his feet and Jarrett gets his situation dealt with, he still wants shots at the unified and Southern titles. But right now, he's bent on destroying Eric Embry. And one thing I liked here, because all that's, Embry originally turned on Gilbert, and Eddie was in like 1 or 2 tag team matches. They really didn't get anything out of it. And you're just like, well, he got moved over to this tag team feud with the Texas Hangmen. But now we bring back the footage and remind everybody, hey, this is why this main event is happening, because Eddie still has a big grudge to settle here. So we hear a promo from Eddie, and I want to show this just because, to me, this is where one of those things where it kind of reminds me of Lawler, where this is just a low-key. This is kind of like his official babyface promo, I think. In the last few weeks, he kept pushing the fact of, I ain't changed, everybody else has changed and all that. Well, here he's low key, he's talking like a true blue 100% babyface. And at the end, Eric Embry shows up. So let's check out this promo.
But before I can do any of that, before I can do anything, Dave, I've had to stand and wait because Jerry Lawler wanted a part of Eric Embry, so the promoters let him have his way. Well, now, Eric, I've waited week in, week out, because, man, I wouldn't be thinking the way I'm thinking right now if it hadn't been for you. If you hadn't slapped me upside the head and got me to thinking a little bit, because I want to say something to these people, too. These people, when the going got tough, they didn't have to stand behind me because they didn't know whether to trust me or not. But I want to tell you this. You've been there for me. I'm going to be there for you from now on. Because, you see, boys, I'm a Tennessee boy. I was reared in Lexington, Tennessee.
All right, come on.
Is that right?
Embry out. And Gilbert doesn't back up an inch. He just went right for it. Look out, look out. There goes Pritchard and stunning Steve Austin. We got 3 against 1. Tojo leading cheers back in the corner. Come on. Embry just came out here yelling. Oh, my goodness, they've got him cut open. They smacked him Embry hit him in the top of the head with that belt. That's what happened. He cut him open. The Texans triple teaming. And that briefcase of Tojo's. Yeah, thank goodness. Here comes Eddie Marlin. Eddie Marlin out.
Whew. So before it came, the clip we didn't see in there, Eddie's talking about, they're showing clips of what Embry did to him. They show the clip of them spike pile driving Doug outside the cage, or inside the cage, but on the outside of the ring. And he talks about all that, and then he mentions his Tennessee pride. I'm a Tennessee boy from Lexington, and this brings Eric Embry out. And, man, them first flurry of punches looked great. And I'll say one thing, Eddie is a master at juicing, because I was watching for it both times I watched that, and you can't see where he did it, but he as soon as he hit him with the belt, he's bleeding pretty good. So he slipped it in there when you didn't see it. But man, so this puts some heat on a match Monday night between Eric Embry and Eddie Gilbert. But we're gonna get a lot more heat dumped on it shortly, so we won't go too much into that. But what did you guys think of this promo in particular?
Yeah, Embry coming out there, sacrificing himself essentially, because he knew he was going to have to take at least 8-10 punches, and he just kind of comes in there, gets on the knees to turn Gilbert away, just to get that turn. And that's such a piece of shit move. I will take punishment just to set it up. And God, they gobbled Gilbert up. And like you say, man, like, bleeding on TV, and Gilbert's doing that, and it making it look good. And I love talking about the little things. The new briefcase, we see the big Texas bumper sticker. Like, just I love the little attention to detail. It puts it over the top, man. And Tojo's hat is getting bigger by the week.
I loved it too, but like I said earlier, this answered my question. Where's Embry? So Embry, steps out, but he waits to step out when Gilbert's doing that promo. So I love that part. Let's wait on him. and let's get him in for the rest of the show. So loved it. Love watching Eddie. I did notice he had the blade in his left hand. I do know that because when they were beating on him, he had you could see the hand, the way he was holding the blade. So he bladed himself with his left hand. We do know that. Don't know when, but like you said, boom, he's bleeding. So,
like y'all said, little things, because they all three could have just come running straight out and just logged him right there. But Eric comes out alone. We established for part of the story, one-on-one, Eddie's got the advantage. But like you pointed out, Josh, Eric's smart enough to get him. He immediately drops to his knees in the opposite direction, so that turns Eddie's back, and we see him getting the shit beat out of him. But yet here comes the Texas bunch. So everybody got something out of that. It wasn't one-sided. Eddie looked good, but then he looked sympathetic. Eric looks like a pussy. So it all makes sense, and it all adds to their match on Monday night. But little we know, they're just getting started. We got Eric Embry taking on Mickey J. I didn't realize Mickey J was this active in the USWA in 91, but he's been here every week for the last several weeks. Embry manages to land an illegal pile driver behind the ref's back to get the pin on Mickey J. Again, that's kind of like you pointed out in the past, cheating for the sake of cheating, just to show that everybody knows Eric Embry could have beat Mickey J with any other move in the world, but no, we're going to do it with a pile driver just to stick it up your ass. So good stuff there. And then Eric does a promo after the match. He points out that Jerry Lawler is you're hiding behind your doctors, man.
Retired the king.
I retired him. So, it's a wonder Jerry ain't at home watching like with Jimmy Hart. He's going to be ready to break Embry's jaw when he comes back. But
dude, I was hoping that he would come out with the belt. He stole the belt. We've seen it in the footage.
Yeah, it would have been neat.
Yeah, and that would have put that thought over even more. But
Lawler took it home.
Probably. He's like, I'm not leaving this belt with you. He left with Eddie Marlin, let him hold on to it, but let Embry have it on TV, because that'd have been great. Yeah, if he'd come out there with the unified have that robe closed, and when he opens it up, the unified title's on underneath it.
Yeah.
I know it's been done to death, but hell, he could have stole the belt and the crown and been King Eric Embry, the unified champion, for the next few weeks, but he's and that would have tied into this feud with Eddie Gilbert too, because everybody knew that Eddie was wanting to become the king of Memphis. That could have added a whole other dynamic to this feud here. But anyway, Embry's cutting the promo. Lawler's hiding behind his doctors, and Eddie Gilbert's going to have a match Monday night, and he's going to whip Eddie Gilbert's ass. But then he realizes off to the side, I don't know if he was in the crowd or over by the curtain, but he spots Eddie Gilbert's lifelong friend, John Gilliam, and he calls him over, and Dave tries to stop it. Like, no, you don't need to call him over here. And this exchange happens. Let's check this out.
What's he saying? Hi, hey, let me tell you something. Hey, Dave, get him over here. Come on over here.
Leave him alone. He can say what he wants to.
Shut up. What's your problem, man? What's your problem? I guess you're an Eddie Gilbert fan or something.
Yeah.
Oh, you're an Eddie Gilbert fan?
Yeah.
Eddie Gilbert's probably your best friend in the whole world, man.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, Eddie Gilbert. You're probably from Tennessee, too, ain't you?
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm proud of it.
Oh, what are you proud to be from Tennessee?
Yeah.
He's proud to be from Tennessee. Eddie Gilbert's friend, proud to be from Tennessee. Man, that proves my theory, Dave Brown, that all you Tennessee people are a bunch of goofs, man. You come to fight Eddie Gilbert's battles for him. You come to fight Eddie Gilbert's battles.
Yeah, if I have to.
Oh, you want to fight me?
Yeah,
go
if I have to.
Go hit me.
Hey, come on, Eric. Embry slapping John Gilliam, who's just Eddie's friend. Oh, my goodness, throw him in the ring. This proves affecting, let me tell you. Now here comes Tom Pritchard. For heaven's sake. John can't weigh 130 pounds. And Embry grabs him, got him up on the ropes. Pritchard helping him set. Oh, my goodness. a pile driver on John. John is just out here expressing his opinion, trying to defend his friend. You guys got to feel real good about yourselves right now. Eric Embry and Tom Pritchard. I can't believe it. Here comes Eddie. They hit John with a pile driver off the ropes. Absolutely no excuse for what those guys were out here doing. Bill Dundee and Danny Davis. Here comes...
Okay, so before we get to the promo that's coming up, for a little context here for anybody who doesn't know. So John Gilliam is literally Eddie Gilbert's lifelong friend from childhood. And once Eddie got into wrestling, John was a big wrestling fan. He would bring John with him to shows. And eventually, if you watched wrestling over the years in any territory that Eddie was in, except for, say, WCW, at some point, Eddie Gilbert would end up beating up a fan, and that fan would always be John Gilliam. They did it in Continental. He's been beaten up on Memphis. They shaved his head one time in Memphis. But when I was working on the Eddie Gilbert book the first time, I had a pretty long discussion with Miss Peggy, Eddie's mom, about John Gilliam, and said that, he'd been a friend of their family, and Eddie had, took up being friends with them. They was kids, and they would go on, trips with them and all this. Very, very close. And so I think this next promo we're about to watch is the polar exact opposite of the promo we seen Eddie Gilbert give earlier in the show. And again, you just have to watch this promo, but I wanted people to kind of have that context to bear in mind. I feel like this is the reaction you would get if Eric Embry had really beaten up, Eddie Gilbert's best friend. This is the reaction you get, because holy shit, you talking about bringing reality to something, you talk about putting heat on something. He didn't have to use the words that Eric Embry used last week, but we're convinced after you watch this, if you don't think he wants to kill Eric Embry, I don't know what else he could say or do. Check this out.
Here comes Eddie Gilbert.
No! Nobody! Look! You got my brother John! You can say that, Embry! He's a wrestler, he's a big boy! When he got into wrestling, he had to take that shit, just like I did, and just like any wrestler here in Dayton! He's not a wrestler! That's my friend John! He's not a wrestler, boy! You don't lay one finger on him! I said a while ago, I haven't been the hot stuff Eddie Gilbert that everybody hated! Well, listen to me, boy, and listen good! I've got you! There's no way you can run from me now! It's already done! You're mine! For one thing, this week, I'm going to be Chef Boyardee, and I want you to be cooked well done!
Eddie Gilbert.
All right, so a main event promo to set up a main event match. What do you guys think of this whole the of Eric and John, and then Eddie's promo afterwards?
I started thinking, watching all this again while we're sitting here, I'm like, man, you've heard me say before, Eric Embry's top 5, one of my favorite heels of all time. This specific show and the events we just watched is one of the foundation blocks of that thought. And like I said, I used to wear this tape out. And, with that being said, it's like you always hear people in the wrestling business say, even if you're an opening match guy, play your role. Even if you're mid-card, play your role. Eddie Gilbert is a lot of the reason that I feel like Eric Embry is one of my favorite heels as well, because that promo was so intense and it made me, like you said, it was real. It felt real. He just almost killed his best friend. And Eddie came out there enraged. I'd never seen Eddie just absolutely enraged. And not only was it a masterful promo from Eddie, and put him over the moon in my eyes. But like I said, that promo he did created, it made Eric Embry a further, just bigger monster in my mind. Great shit, man.
I agree. I love the very front of this pro. No. I mean, it's just agony in his voice, as if, like you said, if it was his real best friend got beat up by these guys, if this was legit. I love this promo. I love it, love it, love it. And he is a babyface now, guys, big time with, his best friend getting beat up and all this stuff. I just like it. I like the way John takes off his glasses too. I love that little touch that he does, but just fun stuff. Great stuff from Eddie, great stuff from John. And as Josh said, and we've said it over and over, that fucking Eric Embry needs to get his ass whipped. He is, I just hate Eric Embry. I mean, that's what you would think as a fan.
Yeah. If you watch John, when Eric slaps him and he goes down, he carefully sets his glasses off to the side of Dave, which is great. There
was something that Dave said too after that promo I wrote down. He said, Eddie was as unhappy as I've ever seen him. I mean, and he said it real like I did get Buck from last week,
He didn't use the word angry or enraged. He's as unhappy
as I've ever seen him.
I forgot to make a note of that. I'm so glad you remembered, because that was tremendous. Quickly before I get to this, that reminded me of if you've ever watched that Eddie Gilbert shoot interview that he did with Bob Barnett, and he talks about some of the John Gilliam angles. Him and Heyman kind of ribbed John when they did the thing in Continental, and he came up out of the crowd to accept Eddie's $10,000, $5,000, $10,000 golden challenge, whatever it was. And before he would wrestle him, they'd have to go through this little thing of him giving he wouldn't sign a form, but he had to kind of give a verbal release that he wasn't going to sue anybody. So as they're checking him, so Paul Lee's like, we got to get everything out of your pockets. Well, apparently John was a big smoker. And Paul Lee grabs his pack of cigarettes out of his pocket and just tosses them out in the crowd. And Eddie says in that interview that after that, John's freaking out so bad about his cigarettes, they can't hardly get through the damn angle because he's pissed because Paul Lee threw his cigarettes away.
That's funny. That's funny.
But I feel like, even though Embry's booking right now, I feel like him and Eddie probably collaborated on this whole thing.
I agree. I put that
this has Eddie Gilbert written all over it,
does.
especially
it really
the John Gilliam aspect. But kind of to y'all's point, going into this, like last week, I was thinking whenever Lawler said I'm fixed to be out 4 to 6 weeks, my mind immediately goes to who do we have built up for a singles feud with Embry? Are we going to just lean on these tag matches or what? And in the course of this one episode, we've pulled Eddie out of this tag team with Steve Kern last week, and we have created, as y'all said, you've made Embry an even bigger heel. So even somehow he was a huge heel for hurting Lawler and doing everything he's done now, but you've made him a bigger heel in the course of this episode. And now you've made Eddie a full-blown babyface, and you've given him a reason that we are going to have to go see how this plays out. Not to spoil the final questions, but after that Eddie Gilbert promo, we're like, God dang, he may actually kill Eric Embry. I've never seen anybody this mad on a wrestling show.
Well, I've never seen him as unhappy. I really have.
Well, when somebody's that unhappy, they're either going to hang themselves or they're going to beat the shit out of their person that made them that unhappy. So
that
we'll just have to see how it plays out.
That screaming that Eddie did, though, just that no. I mean, it just loved it. Absolutely.
And again, it's well thought out, because that's why earlier in the show he was very monotone. He was very low key.
Yeah.
Guys, fans, I'm going to give back to you what you've given to me. And he's real monotone, so that by comparison, when he's screaming, now we know, oh, shit, he is pissed. He was already kind of mad at these guys. He already wanted revenge on Embry, but now he wants to literally murder him. So good stuff, man. Just really, really good stuff. And after that unhinged promo from – the only thing that kind of got me that I didn't love was that line at the end about Chef Boyardee felt so out of place. Like, what?
Yeah, yeah, that's not what I think when I hear "well done."
No. DT thinks of two guys with thongs up their ass over singlets.
Well, that's what I was thinking when he said "well done." But I wrote that down. I said that's got to be one of the worst lines I've ever heard.
I don't know if that was like his Lawlerism of
it was. He's going to
teasing a fireball, but holy shit! After that heated realistic promo, that was the most out of place line I've ever heard. I was like, I almost cut it when I'm like, well, there's no need to be cutting it. He said it. That's what the reality of it is. But when I was doing the clip, I was like, well, we just cut that part out. I don't like that. But I was like, nah, we're studying history here. That's what was said. We got to go with it. And I almost forgot to mention it. So now we've swapped Eddie out of the tag team, and we put Bill Dundee with Steve Keirn now. And Steve Keirn says he didn't come to Memphis for the sunshine. He came to kick somebody's brains in. And so each week, Steve Keirn has managed to get at least one line. Last week, he was in people's cornflakes, and now he's going to kick somebody's brains in. Unless they've already worked their brains out, like he wouldn't be able to kick a certain person's brains in. If they worked their brains out, there's nothing there. So that would be one time that worked in their favor. A lot of people may not remember, though, that like you go back to 82, Dundee and Keirn was a pretty big deal as a tag team. They held the belts for a long time and held off a lot of challengers and won the belts a couple of different times. So to fans that maybe just got on board and, say maybe 88, 89, 90, they may think this is kind of a thrown together tag team, but Dundee and Keirn do have some history here in Memphis.
Yeah, I got a picture of them as tag champs. I got a promo, a gimmicks table picture of them that I spent a whole $1 on with the tag belts. Real quick, Josh, I'm just going to say I'm becoming a huge Keirn mark for these interviews and just the way he works. I was a Keirn fan, with the Fabs, with him and Stan. But damn, I'm just loving this version of Keirn. He's such a badass.
You love Gator Keirn, is who you love.
I do. I love Gator Keirn. So there
he's got the earring, the tourist hat.
Yeah,
he
took his shirt off for this interview too. I was laughing. I was like, hey, he said, "Oh, hold on, Bill. Let me get my shirt off," and he had to take his shirt off to go out there and do the promo. But yeah, I liked it.
And dude, he still, he said, I didn't come to Memphis for the sunshine because I haven't seen it since I got back here.
Right,
and, working that jab in, but still, he's miserable being off the beach. Oh, yeah. He is absolute miserable not being able to get on that boat and shit. But still he comes through like he will beat the fuck out of you.
He does, boy.
He's got Bill Dundee by his side too. And God Almighty, I can't imagine the ass whippings that'll happen.
He's been to Mud Island every day and has yet to find an alligator. The alligator hunt is going terrible in Memphis. So our main event / expiration of time match this week is the Texas Hangmen, the tag team champions, along with JC Ice, taking on Night Train Jackson, no relation, and Nightmare Danny Davis. So I thought, well, this match has some promise here. Hangman, they get a win in the first fall, and then babyfaces look pretty good. Second fall, we time runs out midway through. It was a good match. There wasn't any story behind it or anything, but it wasn't. I guess since it was the main event and the expiration of time, we didn't just have the take Night Train Jackson and job him out while Danny Davis stands in the corner, watching kind of match. So what do you guys think of it?
Yeah, that was going to be my comment. Other than Night Train actually he comes equipped with the train horn and the guest jeans and the neckerchief and the conductor hat or Casey Jones hat, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I get it, I think he's just trying to be relevant and take like that WWF approach of throw something on him. He can't just be Night Train. He needs something to set him apart from a jobber or whatever, but still I don't think going to the old country store and getting whatever they got on sale is the approach. But still, it wasn't your typical Texas Hangman match where they just eat like they're at a buffet. It was back and forth. And yeah, that needed to happen because Night Train, obviously they're investing in him. He's already had a couple world light heavyweight title matches. He's actually getting moves in, looking promising. So they're trying to build something. And so I liked it, man. It seemed like it was high paced, and the fans were into it as well. So
I liked it. It was fun. I absolutely hate that. I wrote down when he came out with the whistle, I put, OMG, this is fucking horrible. And then I was looking at him. I said, is this racist? I don't know. For some reason, I thought he was dressed. And it reminded me, do you remember this, Gene? There was a team in the Nashville area at one time, and I cannot remember who it is. But it was a white guy and a black guy. The black guy, both of them was dressed in Confederate stuff.
Oh, yeah, New South. Corey Williams and Ashley Hudson.
There you go. And I don't know. That's what reminded me of. He didn't sell the headbutts. I thought that was hilarious. He would give the headbutts. And he had a sweet drop kick. But was he blowing that whistle over on the side?
Yes,
during the hot tag?
Yes, I was going to say, during Uncle Danny's hot comeback, you could hear the freaking whistle. Because the whistle was the worst part of it. I understand if they're going to call you Night Train, lean into it, but that whistle was terrible because Danny's trying to make a comeback and you're oh Jesus Christ, don't do
Danny
that.
Looked good, man. He looked so good. He's so smooth on everything he does. And you could tell that, he's working with two guys that are still a little green. I mean, they've been in the business for a while, but man, everything's so good. And that's the thing about it. No matter what, you're going to get a good match when Danny Davis is in the ring. So.
And I wanted to, sorry, Gene, I just wanted to say, seemed like the formula is now, if you are on the first match of the Monday night Pipkin Building show, then you're going to be on the main event the Saturday before. Happened to Bill. It's happening to Uncle Danny now. I noticed that. It seems like that's what they're doing now.
Oh, well. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah. I got to give it Night Train. Night Train needs to bring that bottle of Night Train out and come out.
Now that would be racist.
Pimp Daddy, and yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Do you know why you always get a good match out of Uncle Danny, BT?
Why? Tell me.
Don't play.
I made a note. I'm glad that Josh said it about the country store because I made a note. Which wrestler do you think stopped in at the Casey Jones Village in Jackson and talked him into getting the freaking whistle?
I don't know why I think Casey Jones is racist too. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just mixed up on what's racist and not racist these days. So
I don't know. You're one. That's for never mind. So Dave Brown makes his comment after that this was another day where the Texans win them all. And so we really want to drive home that point to keep that at the forefront of everybody's mind. But pretty good episode. We're going to see what you guys thought about it. But first, we got to take our podcast commercial break. And then when we come back, we'll let Dave tell us exactly what's happening at the old Pipkin building this week.
Hey guys, Ray Russell here. Lots of new stuff happening here at WrestleCopia. If you haven't checked out our website at WrestleCopia.com, it's a great way to keep up with the latest episodes of all of your favorite Copia programming, from the Wrestling Memory Grenade to Regional Wrestling with the Territory Talk, the Wrestling Stoop with the legendary Bob Roop, and of course all of those programs also available at your favorite podcast streaming platforms. And if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the Copia world, all the latest news, random thoughts, fun videos, pictures, and more, make sure to join the more than 33,000 followers over at Facebook.com/Wrestling Grenade. Don't be left out. And last but definitely not least, it's what keeps the entire machine going. I'm talking about Patreon.com/WrestleCopia. We appreciate your support in helping us pay the bills to keep the WrestleCopia Podcast Network running and enabling us to continue to bring you all the quality programming that we offer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Chic, Jarrett, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all, and all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Tired of the same boring wrestling podcast? Need something with attitude, chaos, and maybe just a little cussing? That's stspod.club, and we got it all covered. We got wrestling weirdness with WTF News Desk, 5-minute time limit, and the southern fried brain of me, BT, steering the whole ship. We also have rolling into Memphis every week about the current Memphis wrestling. Interviews, hot takes, and wrestling outrageousness so wild it might get you banned in 12 states. That's right, it's SDSpod.club, or search all podcast catchers for Shooting the Shiznit, where wrestling podcasts grow chest hair. Not sure what that meant. Love my mama.
All right, let's throw it over to Dave Brown and hear what the card is for Monday night.
Tonight is going to be Danny Davis. Nightmare Danny Davis goes against Keith Roberson in the opening match. Following that, the World Light Heavyweight title will be on the line. Night Train Jackson. Night Train held the belt briefly, but lost it again to El Grande Pistolero. Then, hair versus hair match. In this one, there must be a winner, as Uptown Bruno, once again, will be going against JC Ice Baby. Then, first tag team match of the evening, a superstar, Bill Dundee, will be teamed with Steve Kern. The superstar and Gator will be going against the Texas Hangmen. JC Ice will be in the Hangman's corner. Special challenge match as Jeff Jarrett and his mystery partner, Robert Fuller. No longer a mystery, by golly. It's going to be the Tennessee Stud with Jeff Jarrett. Main event of the night. Super grudge match of the year. Hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. Boy, he has said time and time again he wants to get at Eric Embry. He wants to get at him for several reasons. One of them being, he said, he's sidetracked his career. He sidetracked his route first for the Southern Heavyweight title and then for a world title match. And he can't concentrate on anything until he can get rid of Eric Embry.
All right, guys, there's the card. So let's ask the question: what was your least favorite part of this week's episode?
God, what a show, man! Like,
what a show!
What a show! Again, I'm going to repeat what I've repeated probably for the last 6-8 weeks. I am nitpicking. But I think this is the biggest heel of the show, even after what Eric Embry did, was the audio issues. That is the number one setback of this show. And it's not like it takes away from, the final product, like in a crazy, crazy way. But it is a little tiny bit distracting. But, man, this show shines so bright. It is a fucking just a minute black spot on it.
I'll go with my worst was that fucking whistle. So there you go. Whistle that Night Train had. Really solid show. They had a lot of time for I made a note after I talked to the wife about this, but I noticed that I said, I just finished the Memphis show. It seemed like they had a lot of extra time for the expiration of the time match than they usually have. And then I thought, well, Jerry ain't out there doing 3 fucking interviews. So maybe that's the reason they had extra time. Remember, Jerry's not on this show, and spoiler alert, what we talk about here after he gives us the results, this show sold some tickets, guys. That's just what this is about. It's a commercial for Monday night, and damn, it was a good commercial. So
certainly was. So this question may be equally as hard, but what was your most favorite part of this week's show?
I just want to hijack this moment just for a little bit because he hasn't said, but the question is, Lawler is like going on vacation from wrestling, right? Is he also on vacation from softball? He hasn't said. Nobody's coming out here pushing the games. He hasn't specifically said. He just said wrestling. The doctor said wrestling. I feel like he's still out there going to be swinging on Sundays, but that's neither here nor there. But it is a good question.
I don't think April's softball season, Josh. That's the reason they're not pushing it. There you go.
Well, spring training
on Sundays.
Yep.
Spring training starts in February.
Well, that's right.
He's bound to be out there doing something. My favorite thing, and this isn't hard to believe, but the whole Eric Embry, Eddie Gilbert fiasco, man. It's such great shit. It's one of the best things that has happened, thus far with Eric booking and stuff. And like you said, man, that has Eddie Gilbert written all over it too. So one has to think that they got in the back. Let's really do this. Let's really get people wanting to come and see us fight each other, because that shit that we did against each other, that's been 2 months now. So I like that they also pre-played with dates, all of the incidents that happened. And to a kid like me, man, 8 years old, I'm eating that shit alive. I'm just, oh yeah, I remember that now. And it really helped set up Monday night.
Yeah. Favorite part's got to be Gilbert getting beat up, John getting beat up. Just all of it, just so good. The little small things like Embry not showing up till for that. Also, I didn't mention this, but talking about another small detail was when Pritchard was choking Lawler from outside. Remember, the doctor said it was his neck, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. They're trying to kill the king. They really are, like you said, Gene. They're going after to kill the king on that match. So it was all just the little special details. Great show, great build for Monday night, I think.
Yeah, and another little detail, for the previous 2 weeks, Embry had been pile driving enhancement guys off the second rope, which would send Lawler into a tizzy, and they'd set up another match. And I'm sure when they got ready to sit down, like, all right, what are we going to do here to build this match? Like, well, we can't just pile drive another jobber, because you hadn't really seemed to care the last 2 weeks. It was always Lawler out here raising hell. And
right.
I'm sure Gilbert's like, yeah, but what if you pile drove somebody that I had a personal connection with? And Eric could be like, well, do you think Peggy would take a pile driver off the second rope? He's like, no. We've already spiked pile drive Doug on the floor, so that'd be going back to the well.
Mr. Tommy, you're up.
Yeah, so either your mom or your dad, take pick. And they're like, no, I got another friend. We can make this work. It made it as personal as possible. I mean, I can say it not just because I'm a fan of Eddie Gilbert and a friend of Doug's and all that. You name me another promo that you can think of, be it Memphis or elsewhere, that come off that real, that personal, that minus the Chef Boyardee line, you thought, oh my God, this went off the rails. This is not supposed to be happening. I can't really think of one that genuine.
As unhappy. He was just so unhappy.
Yeah, well, I've never seen him that unhappy. We'll see how the next couple of weeks go. But so, and then, of course, my other favorite part, if anybody wants to know, was, of course, the announcement that Robert Fuller's coming to town to be Jeff Jarrett's partner. This promises so much fun in the future. It means I'll finally maybe start getting some messages on our egg iron line. I hadn't even been pushing it lately, but we'll see what happens. But right now, let's go to the Pipkin Building, April 15th, 1991. We don't have the number of people, but we have a figure of $4,700 is what the house drew.
That's great. I couldn't figure out what
number considering
yeah. How much was tickets? I was going to figure out how many people was there, but he never mentions the ticket price. So.
Mm-hmm. No, so it'd just be speculation, but we know just based on other house numbers we've seen that's a better house than we've seen in a while. And again, no Jerry Lawler. So kudos to Eric Embry and Eddie Gilbert. So the opening match, Nightmare Danny Davis defeats Keith Roberson. No surprise there. El Grande Pistolero defeats Mike Train Jackson. Hair versus Hair, JC Ice defeats Uptown Bruno. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Who didn't see that coming? Superstar Bill Dundee and Steve Gator Kern defeat the Texas Hangmen in a non-title match. And I meant to say this earlier, but Dave just really seems to enjoy calling him Gator. He's really
he loves it. Yeah,
saying it. He always works it in there somewhere. Oh, Gator. Jeff Jarrett and his mystery partner Robert Fuller defeated Steve Austin and Dr. Tom Pritchard. And then in the main event, Eric Embry defeated Eddie Gilbert by disqualification when Gilbert ended up getting caught with the chain that Eric Embry introduced into the match. But Embry didn't get caught. Gilbert got it away from him. He got caught. Disqualification. First match of the singles feud. I don't have a problem with that. You know, we got probably a long way to go with that one. So no complaints for me. Pretty solid card. You know, I mean, sure, Uncle Danny's basically a squash match to open it, but at least we know he's securing a win. And all these other matches sound pretty good. So
I would have been down there. I don't know if we answered that question, but I would have been down there for this show.
I didn't even ask you because I think we'd already pretty much beat that to death. It'd be redundant. Hey, you guys loved every bit about the show. Would you go see it? Sorry, I guess I should have just for.
And Meltzer said something really hilarious. A $4,700 house for the first card without Jerry Lawler on top in about 100 years. So there you go. It's true though, man. It's you know, I know we're gonna see Jerry come back. I told y'all at Cassette Wrestling News that they kind of spoiled that part for me too, with one of those. But when we see him come back, it'll be interesting to see if the gate starts going up. Because when I was doing the site, it wasn't like when I would see the rate. I did the ratings. I was getting the ratings for the Memphis show, and it wasn't his segments that got high ratings. The highest ratings were from Brian Christopher, and it would be old matches of Brian Christopher, or it was Bill Dundee and Kevin White doing their feud. So Lawler wasn't drawing the ratings during that time, during my website time. So it'd be interesting to see if people will come out to see him again when he returns. So.
Absolutely. Well, that was a good one. So let's, I guess it's time to wrap things up. So that being said, BT, tell us what's shaking over at stspod.club.
All right. Every day we do the Shiznit Minute. We talk about the current wrestling scene. We had episode 996 with rolling into Memphis number 244, which was spooktacular. We started October last week. The first week featured you two guys. Hit me with your first shot. We had Josh on, and was it really that good? Flex Cavana with Gene. We got another music podcast coming out. It will be out by the time you listen to this. And I do the very first ever Was It Really That Good solo. That's right, Gene. I knew you'd been in the hospital. I didn't ask you to do this one. And we're going to talk about The Rock when he gives those concerts. Is The Rock really that good when he sings? And then P3 Radio, I got 4 out of 5 hoots on this one. Episode, by the way, it is the podcast that talks about videos but never gives you the link. 429 giggity. I don't know why I said that. The first 51 minutes, sex talk. That's why I like it. Sex talk, masturbation norms, how much jizz you do, docking again, with 2 6-inch guys with beer bellies, dick names, Alan Jackson and Snoochie Coochie, all 4 hoes. Oh, okay, I'm going to tease another Patreon. I'm going to tell you what all 4 hoes is. Sounding.
I think I was right in that, to be honest.
Sounding. Every time you get a surgery, you get a blowjob, amount of jizz people produce. We did a commercial break, and when they came back, they started still sex talk. They started planning an event in Jackson where to leave the event, you have to give a blowjob. And the
will be sounded with a crochet needle.
That's right. And the last thing was a dildo ketchup dispenser for the sex talk. We had some AI generated stuff. The actress that they've got out, also a robot that's got Suzanne, which is horrible. Suzanne Summers' voice.
It's not even her voice. It's supposed to have her attitude.
Yeah, her attitude. I'm sorry. And he's
It's
shoving.
still a robotic voice.
We heard about shoving dip cans up your ass, and then we had some therapy talk. P3 Radio. Good episode, Josh. Good episode.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It was fun doing it. My jaws hurt afterwards. Not for the reason you would think.
There's your teaser right there, folks. All that blowjob talk, and now Josh had sore jaws afterwards. So
funny how the world works.
Take from that what you will. All right. Well, that sounds interesting. Make sure you check that out this week. And while you're checking things out, check out USWApodcast.com for all of the social media links, merch links, everything to do with this podcast. Also, you can check out DougGilbertPodcast.com for everything related to Doug and Tommy Rich's Dangerous Conversations podcast, which should be coming back sometime in November. And as well as all their social media links and everything are there. Also, check out youtube.com/@Retro Wrestling Archive. New stuff going up every day, random wrestling videos of different territories, stuff from Japan recently, from FMW and IWA Japan. Almost all of my podcasts go there. BT contributes a lot of content there. Check out my interview I did last week with Brian R. Solomon, the author of the Gorilla Monsoon book that was just recently released, which is a really good book. Also, he did the Blood and Fire book about the Sheik, which is very interesting. You can check that out. Coming up this week, I'm going to be interviewing Terry Sullivan, who was the voice of Big Time Wrestling in Detroit. He was also announcer for the WWA for Dick the Bruiser in Indiana. Interesting conversation with that man who was the voice of the Territory Days. And also sign up for Patreon, because we're fixing to be ending this show and starting a new episode of Hot Mics, and it sounds like it's going to be a doozy based on some of the teases that BT has given you right here today. And last but not least, check out our friends at EPWWrestlingMS.com. Great television shows each and every week, plus a ton of other content over at EPWWrestlingMS.com. Anything else, guys, before we take it home?
I'm good, Gene, man. Glad you're steering the ship, man. I didn't know if we was going to have a show this week or not. And so that tells me that you're at least feeling a little bit better than you anticipated. So that's the right road, man. Continue down that road.
I just want to thank everybody. You too, Gene. Get well. Thank everybody again. We got a bunch of new listeners, and it's got to have to do with us doing this USWA every week. It's about consistency, and we don't stop. We keep doing it. And also, as everyone knows, I love my mama.
See you next week for more Retro Wrestling Review USWA Podcast.